Well, it is Wednesday, and we are going through the Transformers franchise, so as I promised, let's talk about Transformers Dark of the Moon. Transformers Dark of the Moon is the third installment within Michael Bay's Transformers franchise, and on its surface, it's exactly what you'd think a Transformers movie would be. Decepticons fighting Autobots, and there's apparently some secret ultimate power source the Decepticons are going after, but this time, there might be so many Decepticons because they were hiding out on the moon that we may be looking at worldwide destruction, even with the Autobots here to help us out. Now, ever since this movie came out, it's been very divisive amongst people who've seen it, but in all honesty, compared to how I feel about Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, I was a little surprised. I actually kind of dug this. And one of the biggest reasons is one I wasn't expecting when I watched it, and that's every aspect to deal with Sam Witwicky. You see, unlike Revenge of the Fallen, where Michael Bay just had Shia LaBeouf running all over the place and yelling all the time, in Dark of the Moon, Sam's trying to find his place in the world. He wants to matter. He wants to make a change in society. He's trying to find a new job, and he's also got a new girlfriend, played by Courtney Huntington-Whitley. And if you're wondering where Megan Fox went, she was fired by Michael Bay because she ultimately compared him to Hitler. Probably not a good idea if you want to keep acting. Or have a regular job for that matter. But to my everlasting surprise, Courtney Huntington-Whitley was actually good. Also, I've stated countless times that my favorite parts about these Transformers movies is the relationship between Sam and the Autobots, or Sam and Bumblebee in particular. And honestly, in Dark of the Moon, there were a couple of scenes that got me very choked up. There might have even been one or two tears. And before I get into my negatives, no, I didn't forget about the technical aspects, but I didn't think I needed to state something that was so obvious. The music, the action, the visual effects, it's all very, very beautiful. Now, I've already told you that I enjoyed this movie. It doesn't mean it's not a hot mess, because it really is. Beginning and not ending with all of the tonal shifts. You know, it's funny, because each act of this movie has its own singular tone. The first act seems like a very fun popcorn movie. The second act is more of a horror movie. The third act is just full-out war. And just like I said, the Transformers aspect of these Transformers movies are always great. The human aspect of these films are always just as terrible. Whether it be the military, John Turturro, or Sam's parents, it's all abysmal. But John Turturro did have Alan Tudyk as his butler. Not gonna lie, that was pretty sweet. And if you don't know who Alan Tudyk is, you should probably watch Firefly. But anyway, back to Transformers. So the second into the third act was where I had the most fun, but I will admit that it drug out for too long, and that's when the editing really started to get choppy. There is a scene where John Turturro and Sam are going to meet, and John Turturro is across the country, I think, and within the next instant, he puts on a jacket, a pair of sunglasses, the screen flashes like a strobe light, and then he's in Sam's apartment. It made no sense whatsoever, but I guess that's pretty much par for the course at this point. And yeah, although watching Decepticons and Autobots clash is really, really entertaining, the ending just drug on for 15 minutes too long. But even with all those problems there, it can still be a very enjoyable popcorn movie. And that's where it stands with me. So I'll say that Transformers Dark of the Moon is a casual watch. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and just as a reminder, next week I'll be reviewing Transformers Age of Extinction before Transformers The Last Knight comes out. But as always, it is what you guys say that matters. So have you already seen Transformers Dark of the Moon? And what did you think of it? More importantly, do you think Dark of the Moon is an enjoyable popcorn movie, or do you think it's just flat out unwatchable? Leave a comment down below telling me your thoughts. And if you like what you've heard here and you want to see more, click right there and subscribe and become part of the fray of nerds who love cinema. You all have a fantastic day.